All right, we welcome everyone to episode 31 of the Overtime Podcast. Alongside my co-host Wyatt Krieger, we have a special guest, a transfer from Wofford, Storm Murphy. I'm Kevin DiDomenico as well to introduce everyone. He's a grad transfer from Wofford, where he averaged 17 points per game last year. All conference honors there as well. Storm, thanks for coming on. You're the second men's basketball player to come on here for episode 31 now.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First ever video edition.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. I
yeah.
want to introduce that as well, our YouTube channel.
So I want to start with obviously your decision to transfer. Obviously your connections to Virginia Tech, to the coaching staff, to some of the players played a huge role. But how tough was that decision when it really came down to it with all the schools? I know Wisconsin from your hometown was interested. How tough was that decision? Or when Mike Young initially reached out to you, was your decision kind of already made?
Yeah, it was definitely a process and a hectic week for me, entering the portal after our season and kind of just thinking through what was next for me. You know, I had opportunities to grad transfer to a bunch of great schools, and Virginia Tech was definitely one of them. And then was also thinking about trying to go professional basketball right away and just doing that without taking this COVID year. So that was kind of the thought process, and you know, going through the list of schools and having all those conversations with the coaching staffs and my family and friends, everything kind of really was in comparison to Virginia Tech.
Right.
Because like you mentioned, you know, that connection I had with Coach Young and the staff, and you know, being great friends with Keve, roommates in the past with him, and just, yeah, that connection. So, and then knowing the play style, knowing what I was going to get if I came here. So, yeah, it was really, that was my thought process, and but Virginia Tech was definitely, you know, like the forefront of my mind the whole time. So
We'll get to the connection with Keve and Mike a little bit later, because we're super interested in that, you know, relationship throughout the season, how that storyline is going to develop. I didn't know you were considering professional basketball after Wofford. What were some of the pros there that you had going into that?
yeah, I think, you know, I was just excited to start that, you know, that career as a whatever, get paid to play basketball
Right.
type of thing, and I think that's, you know, everyone.
Well, now we have NIL.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that helps. But I think that's everyone's, you know, goal. Every college basketball's, you know, goal is to, you know, make money playing the game they love one day. And so to start that dream and go do that was definitely an option, and definitely something, you know, I was working towards throughout my career at Wofford. I mean, the thought process kind of went, you know, how can I pass up an opportunity to come here and play for a coach I know and
Right.
that recruited me originally, and where the offense I know and the defense and the play calls and just the system in general. I have great relationships, and it's the ACC, right? Like, and they're a great team. They finished third in the ACC last year, went to the tournament, returning everyone basically, and almost just an opportunity. I said, you know what, like I can't pass up this opportunity this year. This COVID gift in a way would be too much to pass.
All right, Storm, you keep leading us into it. We're going to talk about it then. The relationship with Mike and Keve, I want to know about the conversations that, you know, a lot of our listeners don't know about to get you to come here. Or was it that, you know, it was a mutual connection that I want to play with you guys and you want to play with me?
Yeah, no, initially, I think like right as my name was in the portal, I had a missed call from Coach Young already, and called him back, and you know, we picked up right where we left off since my sophomore year, so that was really fun. You know, we've always thought really highly of each other and kept up, and so yeah, you know, there's that mutual connection and that desire for me to be there and for him to have me here, and then talking to Keve, you know, FaceTiming him throughout the year, always texting him, you know, throughout the last 2 years really, but more last year because of his sit-out year, and then yeah, just supporting him and talking through the years, joking, and we've just grown super close. And so, you know, having that in a way recruiting pitch from Keve meant a lot. You know, he's been through it. He went through the transfer process, you know, from Wofford to Virginia Tech, which would have been so similar for me. And so I wanted to know what were some of those hard questions that I could ask were to Keve, and to know someone actually. He was able to give me really good, honest answers, and so I think that helped immensely.
So when you're at Wofford, Mike Young takes the job to come to Virginia Tech. Did that thought ever cross your mind that maybe down the road you could end up playing for him again, or was that something you kind of just put you blocked out and you were focused on winning with your team? What was that whole process?
Yeah. I think initially it was kind of a crazy process when he did take the job and left, because we don't really know what's going to happen at Wofford, right? I don't know what coach might get the job, if they're going to bring a whole new staff in, if our whole staff's going to leave and go somewhere. So it's all kind of just a mystery and kind of hectic. And so I just kind of really, I was really trying to focus on our team in that moment and keep our guys together and, just let everything flush out first, and then we'll make decisions. But I think, I don't think I ever really thought, down the road I'll transfer, or down the road I'll be able to go back and play with him or whatnot. Just because the opportunity wasn't there at the time. But, then COVID happens, right? And we get this extra year of eligibility. So, no, I mean, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, someone says that I'd be here back playing with Coach Young and Keve. I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't know how that happened. But
Do you ever get like sort of flashbacks, I guess, from when you were playing with them freshman, sophomore year, or is it, a new style, a new location, or do you pick up where you left off?
That's a really good
Yeah.
point, because yes, a lot of times actually. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the full swing of the season. We haven't been in those game situations and scenarios where Coach Young's going to act like himself and Keve, myself, and we haven't had that in a game yet. But in practice, there's been a lot of moments where I'm realizing, wow, like, okay, this happened 2 years ago. Like, identically.
Deja vu. I remember.
Deja vu. It's just a couple different colors.
Right.
But it's the same feel, the same energy, the same excitement and seriousness about the game, and it's been really fun to see some of those instances come up.
How about that too? Because you come from a school like Wofford, which I'm sure has plenty of tradition, but a Virginia Tech school that has tons of tradition. You've seen the football program, obviously the basketball program as well. So many great players have come through. Do you realize that when you step on campus that there's a culture here that it's different from any other school, by ACC schools?
No, absolutely, yeah. From the football culture and excitement to that first game, everyone's hyping it up,
Right.
and I hadn't ever seen one.
Have you had the experience against
had the experience.
that?
That first game against UNC, was out of this world, and I mean, I can definitely tell, and I've heard from our coaching staff and our players, just the culture, the support, the fan base that Hokie Nation is incredible. I've seen it with football a bit. I've been sensing it with the start of our season coming up, but I'm really excited to see it full on, in Castle this year and this season.
Yeah. So you talk about playing at the next level, and obviously, initially this offseason, Keve Aluma decided to declare himself into the NBA draft. What role did you kind of play in getting him to stay, and what were those conversations like with you guys having similar goals of both playing basketball at the next level, but also, realizing you guys could do something really special here at Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely. While he was going through that process, I was his biggest fan. I was so excited for him, to be able to get invited to the camps and to get feedback, to go work out, to have that experience is a dream, really. So I was super proud of him for able to get that. And then just his biggest fan during it. If he ended up, getting an opportunity or a promise or something, he has to take that. And I'm going to be the first one to tell him that. But looking at what we could do this year, like you said, it's also really exciting, and it's also a really, really great opportunity, and one where, right, like, this is our last go around at it, for surely mine, and to be able to do that again together is really special, and I think it's really going to help us on the court with our X's and O's, with our chemistry, with the culture on the team, and just the bonds that we've formed already. So, and then, looking ahead, it's like, why not stay in college? Why not play another year? Why not do this again together before we go and play who knows where? So I think that's the process, yeah.
So we are in the Hahn-Hurst Center right now. We're in their practice facility. We talked to the sports information director, Brian Cox. He said you'd probably be shooting after. How often are you in this facility?
Yeah, a lot. I try to be a lot.
Yeah.
We pride ourselves on being the team who shoots the most before practice and after practice in the country. We try to be
First one in, last one out.
Yeah, right. First one in, last one out. And we have weights 6 a.m. every morning, and a bunch of guys get shots after that. And in the morning, always hitting up the coaches. The coaches would tell you, like, we're always blowing up their phones trying to get workouts in. Naheem and I worked out today before practice, and it's just a good work ethic, vibe going on and around our team, and it really comes from our coaching staff. They're super willing, and and fun to work out with. But then even the guys, right? We're gonna get in here on our own. So I would say a lot of time. Definitely.
I don't want to have any stolen valor situation here, but we call when we get to the broadcast studio, we call it getting shots up too.
Okay.
If that's all right,
Yeah,
can we do
love
that
it.
too?
I love it.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I absolutely
I
love
was
it.
nervous.
No,
Okay,
great.
good.
It's great. Yeah.
Has there been a teammate, other than Keve Aluma, that has really made your transition to Blacksburg, or made Blacksburg feel like home to you?
Yeah, I would. I would say a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them on the team, really. I would say I've really connected with Justin. At times in practice, just joking around. And he's a fun spirit and a high energy type guy, and I love that. And
Another transfer guy,
Yeah, and we click really well with that. Talk on the court vocally, and then I think I've really connected with a lot of freshmen.
Really?
Here, which has been super fun for me because, last year we didn't have a summer. I wasn't able to be around a team, and so being able to be here in the summer with a team helped immensely. Being able to hang out when really no other students were here typically. So yeah, I would say the freshmen, Justin, really everyone on the team. I feel like I've gotten pretty close to.
So last year you're at Wofford. You guys still play a ton of ACC opponents.
Yep.
But in those games, you're kind of the main guy for that Wofford team. You're a scorer. Your team looks to you, in big times. What's the power dynamic? How has it changed knowing that you can play at this ACC level,
Yep.
but now with an ACC team?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's definitely been a transition and something I think as our season we're getting 20 days out now, getting closer. We'll start to see it more. But
Right.
I think it's cool in practice. Everyone can score, and one dude's gonna get a shot and hit it. One day it's gonna be another guy, and it's cool to see that and know that we have such lethal weapons on our team. From three, people who can drive it, create for other people, and a coaching staff who trusts pretty much all five on the court at one time to do that. And that's really, really key. I think that's going to make us really dangerous in the ACC. But it's definitely, an adjustment and something that we each individually really need to prioritize, with our mindsets and just really playing together as a team, because we have these pieces that can make it really, really special, and the guys are really unselfish. And so when we play for each other in the right way, it's been really cool to see what could happen this year.
So I gotta say, as a fan, I'm so pumped for the season because you seem so excited to just get out there.
I am.
You can see pumped.
You really
No, let's go. I'm pumped. I
Let's get
am.
out there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Actually, we were saying Wyatt can shoot it from three pretty well.
Can you?
We should have a.
A little,
I can't. I
little
don't love you. I
shoot.
can't
Okay. Lefties can shoot usually.
That's true. I don't have it.
Okay.
I'm not like Naheem at all.
So you speak about playing with weapons. At Wofford, you played with one of the best shooters in college basketball history, in Fletcher McGee. How easy was it just being a point guard with someone like that on the floor, and what was that kind of backcourt duo like?
It was great. Yeah, it was a blast. My freshman year was an adjustment, but that was fun. And then my sophomore year, it was even better. It was amazing. Just to be able to see the shots he's able to hit, and just to go talk to him about basketball. His basketball mind is great, and he's always thinking, always watching film, always wanting to get better. And so he really instilled that in me, and he became obsessed with the game, and really showed me how to do that. So it was really fun to develop a great relationship with him and to scheme on the court.
Yeah.
Fletch and I would always come up with little things to get him open, to get me open, and we would see things in the game on the fly that other people aren't seeing, and be able to talk about that, do things on the fly within the offense, within the motion, and it was cool to see him get rewarded, me get rewarded for that. It's just a blast on and off the
It's a
court.
basketball mind.
Yeah.
Well, you're a great shooter too. I'm sure you guys went toe to toe.
No, it was a lot of great competitions. I definitely took the wins on some of those.
Yeah?
For sure. He definitely.
Storm Murphy confirmed better shooter than.
I don't know about that. Yeah. No, he's great. It was a lot of great shooting competitions. He really pushed me. I pushed him as best I could.
So I'm curious. Let's move on to kind of more Virginia Tech based stuff. So Virginia Tech was not included on the preseason AP Top 25. Did you know that?
Yep, I saw that.
Bulletin board.
Bulletin
Yeah,
board
yeah,
material.
yeah, definitely.
Did Mike
notice
say anything about it or
No, we haven't.
I assume no.
Yeah, we haven't said anything about it. It's just a number.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
absolutely.
a tweet. We know how good we are and how good we're gonna be. Currently, right? Like we're not great yet, and there's a lot to prove. You know,
Mhm.
20 days of practice to get better, and we're gonna make the most of that. And then as the season progresses, we're gonna try to be the best team we can be. But that number, that tweet, whatever, that ranking, it's really just a number, and we all know at the end
Right.
at the end of the year, it's gonna be so different from what
I
it
think
is
Wyatt and
now.
I saw it. We just looked at each other like.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, you touched on it. You touched on it briefly earlier, but your role in the offense, how's it changed from Wofford?
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned before, last year really relied on to score and to make plays, and that was shown in the points per game or whatever. But this year, as I've mentioned, we have so many weapons, and we'll see how that plays out.
Mhm.
My role on the court as the point guard is to get everyone set, to run the show, and to make sure our offense is flowing, the ball's in the right places at the right times, to know all the positions and all the plays, and then at the end of the day, play basketball, right?
Mhm.
Be aggressive, and if I have any space, that thing's going up and hopefully going in, and and then just be able to be dynamic and off the dribble and get by my guy and wreak havoc for a defense.
That's one thing I like about your game too is you're scrappy, you hustle. Where does that come from in your past? Is that like
Yeah.
Is that innate? You've always been like
I
that?
think it does come from kind of my upbringing
Mhm.
and being overlooked
Yeah.
as a player growing up. Now I'm never going to be the biggest dude, the most athletic dude, and never never be able to just be given anything. And so I think throughout the AAU circuit and high school basketball, I mean I was a dude who didn't make varsity my freshman year, didn't make JV my freshman year.
Mhm.
I played on the freshman basketball team my freshman year. And it was good for me, right? Because I learned and gained perspective through that, and I think kind of started to realize, how I needed to scrap
Right.
and grind and really work for what I wanted. And so, hopefully as much as I can, that shows in my game on the court every minute I play.
So you talk about that Mike Young motion offense. He's really instilled that at every program he's been at so far in his career. What makes that offense so successful? Obviously, a lot of movement, a lot of screens, but is there something that makes it kind of unique to you? And I'll ask a follow-up after that. But
Yeah, I would say, Coach Young's offense, motion offense, is really is great and tough to guard because of all the movement and all the screening. I think when we can space those and actually hit, it's going to open a lot for shooters. And then the players that Coach Young always have can score it and shoot it, but they're also such high IQ basketball players who can move the ball and find open guys right when we're getting that separation from these screens. And then for me, I would say, one, it's great that I've known that offense already for 2 years, 2.5 now, and so that'll help. And then, I think I take pride in myself being one of those players who can shoot it and then and floor it and find open guys. And so just that constant movement, I think, is really hard for teams to guard.
do you think it's changed at all since when you were at Wofford running that offense to now, or is it maybe just little subtle differences based on the personnel you have?
Yeah, maybe I would say personnel differences, a little subtle differences there. The gist of the offense and the whole X's and O's of it is all very, very similar. I would say, what we can do out of certain screens and whatnot when certain guys have the ball will be different for sure. And then just maybe the ACC defenses will face with length and athleticism and the zone and stuff that they'll play will mix it up and make us have to throw some tweaks in there. But for the most part, it's pretty much the same. So.
Yeah, good point. And you talk about the length in the ACC and how maybe some bigger guys. My whole thing with Division I college basketball is there's going to be talent everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to know what's the main difference we'll see or you'll see between the SoCon and the ACC.
Yeah, I think length, athleticism might be one of the biggest. But again, I've played those teams. I've played these guys before. UNC, Duke, Georgia Tech, and So, at the end of the day, I keep telling myself, like, both conferences, both teams, everyone around the country spells basketball the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's really important mindset to keep. It's basketball, and whoever's working and whoever's preparing the best is going to be the best team.
Yeah, so you talk about the transition from the SoCon to the ACC. Are there any players that maybe you played against in the past that you're looking forward to seeing this year, or maybe a certain venue that you haven't seen that you're looking forward to playing in?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we played in the ACC last year.
We wouldn't have the atmosphere, I guess, last
Yeah.
year.
You played at the Dean Dome, right, in North Carolina?
I've played at the Dean Dome. I've played at Carmichael against UNC as well. Played in Cameron. Yeah, so those two venues, those two places are going to be rocking this year finally with some fans. So that'll be great. I'm trying to think of players I've played that are still there. Armando is still there.
Yeah. He looks huge, by the way. Did you see
Yeah,
that photo?
let's see that picture. We'll see.
Look up that photo on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah.
Media
We'll
day.
clip. We'll throw something in there.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun matchup. Always excited to play them. I think this will be my fourth. Played them my freshman year, sophomore year at home, junior year there, and now this year. So this will be my fourth, 2-1. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to play Virginia. I think that rivalry will be really fun. I've never played them. Such a storied program, and yeah, so that'll be a great rivalry. Excited for that. But really, all the games, this whole new journey for me, new challenge. I'm excited about.
Awesome.
One thing that Tech needs to tighten up before November 9th. What is it?
Us, our team.
Yes, you guys.
One thing we need to tighten up.
Or
I would
just the
say
student bodies.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I would say, I think we need to take strides, in our defensive rotations, just helping each other, playing more as a team on defense. And when we do that, I think we'll be really, really special. Offense will take care of itself. We'll be able to get whatever shot we want for the most part. I think on offense, but if we can get stops, right, because we're not going to make shots all the time.
Right.
But if we can get stops, that's what's going to separate us. And so I think taking strides there will help our team be really, really good. And then, before November 9th, just get ready to pack the place, I guess.
Yeah, we'll handle that.
Yeah, y'all handle that. Yeah.
So, this team seems like such a tight-knit group. How important do you think that is, obviously, for the tough stretch in the ACC, but also just within the offense, within Mike Young's system? How important do you think that is just in terms of playing unselfish basketball and being a unit?
Yeah, no, like you said, Coach Young's offense, the style that he coaches and everything, the programs he runs, it is a very unselfish type of team and culture always. And so that's the way you got to play. And I love it because that's the way that things are going to be celebrated, right? Like no individual plays are celebrated. It's always the team. And I love that about him. I love that about the staff and then the guys as well. We're always celebrating the team plays, which is so fun to be around. But yeah, I think, within the long stretch of the season, like you mentioned, that'll be huge. A lot of teams who aren't close and who don't have a summer, a spring, a fall, preseason to really bond and actually use those opportunities to bond and gel and practice on and off the court, might hit walls throughout the season. And, what's going to happen to those teams when you lose one or two or three or four in a row. You have a tough stretch. At the end of the day, it's something other than just putting the ball in the basket, right? So you're going to have to figure that out. But I think the bunch we have and the type of guys, the character, and the culture we're building will take us a long way.
I feel like we haven't talked about Mike Young enough. He has plenty of nicknames for you. One of them most recent I found was Paperboy.
Yeah.
Did you see I saw some of the video you guys made on the Twitter. That was fantastic.
Yeah, Paperboy. He's had a bunch over the years. He really has.
What are some we don't know?
His go-to. I don't know if he's ever called me Storm. I don't know if he's ever called me Storm. Wow. It's always Stormer.
Okay.
He throws the ER at the end of it. So he always calls me Stormer. That's the go-to. That's the one I hear all the time. But Paperboy.
I think he referenced you as like a little rat.
Little rat, this little rat, Paperboy, little rat. Yeah, it's a lot. There's been a bunch, but
Storm, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Stormer. That's the go-to, I guess. Yeah.
So, we talked about your name. Your name's Storm. There's a huge backstory to
Don't ask them the question.
No, I wasn't gonna ask. I wasn't gonna ask that. I wasn't gonna ask that. I know
They
that.
might not know.
Yeah.
You want to sit?
Yeah, just tell us.
Okay. How did I get my name? Yeah, so it was my mom's maiden name.
Yeah.
Mom's maiden name, and then I was born in January during a snowstorm. So
Goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand. It works. Yeah.
So I was my initial question. I was curious with a name like Storm, and then NCAA letting athletes profit off their name, image, and likeness. Has there been any opportunities there?
It's cool.
Yeah, I've had some great opportunities with some NIL deals, but I think the thing with the Storm, Lightning, Thunder type of slogan or type of logo or whatever we can make, I think that's in the works right now.
Okay.
Do you want us to work on that?
We
for
can
you?
work on that for you.
We can be your off the record agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do they call it? They call it something with like travel baseball players. They call it it's not agent, but they call it like they're not allowed to call it an agent, but they call it like an advisor.
Oh,
we're your
advisors.
advisor.
Yeah,
We're your
advisors.
advisor.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We got to cover this too. The viral TikTok, or
Yeah.
it wasn't a TikTok.
It was just a tweet, a video.
That might be better. That's even better. It's
Yeah.
just tweet. It was a while ago, like 5 years
It was
ago, right?
it was November of my senior year of high school.
All right, so they don't know what we're talking about. How do you try to describe it? It was a dancing video with your parents on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Greens, beans, potatoes,
Right.
tomatoes.
Yeah.
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 You're a good dancer too.
Thanks. Yeah.
Have you always been able to dance?
I think so. It was really my dad actually who taught me a lot of moves. He would never dance in front of anyone, but he can dance. So I think I get it from him. But yeah, that video.
You must have known that was going to take off.